CD on the jump drive. It should say reading, open it, and I want you to open the two files. I want you, to open the one file, Objective Mastery. And this should come up. Before we start filling out and explaining how to modify the 2007 tracker, I want to show you the example of how a choreographer has done it, just so that you know where we're heading towards. So Lenora Vlastic, who teaches out in Roma at Ramiro Valera Middle School, has completed this. And the first, what she has done, as you notice down here, she's put 8.6b, 8.6, and then begins to list all the as she teaches 8th grade reading that align with the 8.6, 8.6b. Then she's going to put all the other ones that are tested and prioritized for her end of the year goal. Then she made another tab down here with a unit. She just highlighted and wrote 8.9, and we will spend some time working on this together. And then she completed all the TEKs. Up here she's put all the TEKs that are the 8.9s. They're the same ones for the 8.10s, the 8.11s, and the 8.12s. Before we look on that, and if we open over here, you'll see all her students' names that are in there. To save you time to not add all the student names, we will first go to the benchmark tab, and this is where you're going to enter all your student names for the specific periods you are teaching. So now, I'm going to close out from Lenora's and go to the Objective Mastery blank one, and we'll fill one out together. Since Isaac and I both taught 7th grade, we will just fill one out as if we are 7th grade teachers. First and foremost, everyone click right now on benchmarks. On benchmarks, you see section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I want you right now to go ahead and change. Click on this row and put the periods you teach. So if you teach 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8, change the section so it aligns with what you teach. So this is easier for you to make sense. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the periods that I taught when I was a teacher. Okay, so now that I've entered all my periods that I teach, I want to click on this plus sign, and it expands, and you should see some blank rows underneath. A key point in this tracker is never import anything in the colored and the blue areas. I'll explain more about that later. So right now, I'm going to get my attendance chart, ADA, whatever you call it at your campus. I'm just going to write all the students' names that are in this period. Okay. Doesn't matter right now if you don't have your attendance with you, just know, you open, then when you click on the negative sign, it decreases. It does not expand it. It goes back to original. But if you open it again, all your students are in there. So again, I will just put some names in the other periods, just so that we have some names in there, just so that you see what happens to each period later on. And you will be doing this. If right now you have your attendance and you want to get it over and done with, pause it and fill in all the rows for your students' names right now. Okay, so now that we've entered all the students' names, we're going to go here where it says unit, and rather than in ELA, because all the TEKs spiral throughout the year, it makes more sense if we change these tabs to specific TEKs that are aligned to your end of the year test. And you can do this chronologically because it's easier to organize that way. So, excuse me, I'm going to write 7.6, 7 because it's the grade level I teach, and 0.6 because that's what's related. 7.10, 7.11, 7.12. I'm just going to use these 4 examples right now, but if you have more numbers, please put them in there. So now, click on 7.6, so this one is outlined, shown, and all the other ones are below. And up here, I'm going to write all the TEKs, the letters that are associated with 7.6. So I'll put 7.6 B prefix. 7.6 roots. 7.6 7.6B. Notice, I know the standard. Someone pointed this out, and Mark Wenshaw pointed this out at the content seminar on Wednesday, and it makes sense. If it's a big TEK, split it into what you will be teaching. So now we have everything for 7.6. 3 minutes only. So when you expand, you'll see something called objectives. Ignore the objectives, and what you will write here would be quiz 1, the date that you administered it, let's say 10/17, and how many questions, let's say 5 Qs. Test 1, 10/25, 2 questions. So what happens, as you will be teaching this throughout the whole year, you will be inputting it every time you assess this TEK to assess how your students will master this. So then how you input how your students do on this, click on the plus signs, and here you see Isaac, Vicky, and Rue, Isaac, Vicky, Rue, and Nick, and then you'll enter each student's names in here. So 5 questions. Isaac, since he's a nerdy, he got 100%, 5 out of 5. Vicky, she's a science PD, and she's not that great with words, so she answered 3 out of the 5, and that makes it 60%. Nick, he's lost in this class. He answered only 1 question correct, and he got a 20. Boom, and up here shows you how your students did overall as a class in this period so far, 60%. And overall on top, another 60%, that's where your students are at. Now Rachel, she understands what you taught, and also John, he's awesome with words, so they're at 100%. Constantine, without a doubt, is 100. Ida, she's almost getting it, she's at 50%. But, excuse me, 50 cannot be done when we have 20s, so she's at 40%. Robert, he's a good reader. His evil twin, since he's working to close the achievement gap, he's smarter than Robert. And then the Joker, he's really smart. The Batman is okay. And I'm forgetting one section over here. Cher, she doesn't read that much. Madonna, she's reading her legal papers right now. She's getting divorced, so she's at mastery. Done. Something's happening with these pink files. Don't worry so much on this. We can fix this later. Over here you see how each period is doing overall on this specific test. And then over here it tells you how your students are doing overall.